This is one little boy that isn't crying wolf. You see this tiny hole in the ground? It's a 12-meter deep dry well, and there's a 2-year-old right at the bottom of it. Firefighters in southwest China worked through the night to rescue the toddler who'd accidentally fallen down the well. It was such a small space they even had to pump oxygen into it through a pipeline. Several attempts to pull the little boy out with a rope had failed. He was just too small and kept slipping out. But thanks to some quick thinking and a mobile phone with video, isn't technology marvellous? He was finally lifted to safety and into the arms of his concerned mum. Something tells me she's not going to be letting him out of her sight for quite some time.
Firefighters have rescued a woman and her son from a 40-meter deep water well in northern China. The 50-year-old mother fell down the hole and her son jumped in after her. 16 firefighters rushed to the scene where they pulled the pair to safety. Neither of them suffered serious injuries, but the woman has been treated for hypothermia. The exact cause of the accident is still being investigated.
Happening right now, a woman is recovering tonight after falling into a sinkhole near her home. The Plant City woman says she was just walking in her own backyard when the ground caved underneath her feet. Carla Chapman fell into an opening that was about 2 feet across and over 7 feet deep. She luckily had her cell phone with her and was able to call her husband, who then called 911.
The two things that virtually saved my life was me calling him and him hearing those few words that I was in crisis. I'm in the ground, I'm sinking. Our phone call was disconnected. He called 911.
Go inside the house and I'm hearing Carla screaming, so I can follow her scream. I open the sliding glass door and I look to the left, and sure enough, I see her fingertips and screaming at the top of her lungs.
Officer William Osmansky was the first to arrive. He held on to Carla until fire rescue got on scene. It took 3 men to pull her from the hole. Her legs were trapped in heavy mud and sand. Both she and the officer were taken to the hospital, treated, and released.
Rescue workers respond to an emergency call. The road up ahead has given way and a car's been swallowed whole. The incident happened in the Tianjin district of Changsha City in central China's Hunan province. According to reports, the tarmac just gave way, creating a 5-meter deep hole. 2 people were severely injured, but fire crews couldn't get the engine near the hole to pull them out because there were fears another part of the road would collapse. Half an hour later, the 2 injured people were rescued and taken to hospital, where 1 man was pronounced dead. The investigation into what caused the road to sink is ongoing. Rescue workers respond to an emergency call. The road up ahead has given way and a car's been swallowed whole. The incident happened in the Tianjin district of Changsha City in central China's Hunan province. According to reports, the tarmac just gave way, creating a 5-meter deep hole. 2 people were severely injured, but fire crews couldn't get the engine near the hole to pull them out because there were fears another part of the road would collapse. Half an hour later, the 2 injured people were rescued and taken to hospital, where 1 man was pronounced dead. The investigation into what caused the road to sink is ongoing.
समय की बड़ी खबर का 10 घंटे हो चुके हैं। एक बार फिर एक मासूम की जान खतरे में है। गुड़गांव के मानेसर की घटना है, जहां 5 साल की बच्ची माही इस समय बोरवेल में फंसी हुई है। बच्ची को गड्ढे में गिरे करीब 10 घंटे हो चुके हैं। बच्ची को बचाने की कोशिशें लगातार चल रही हैं। गड्ढे के अंदर ऑक्सीजन पहुंचाई जा रही है। जिला प्रशासन और सेना की टीमें बच्ची को बचाने में जुटी हुई हैं। ये वही बोरवेल है, वही गड्ढा जो आप तस्वीर में देख रहे हैं। यहीं पर इसी बोरवेल के अंदर 7 फुट गहरे गड्ढे में बच्ची इस समय फंसी हुई है। जिस गड्ढे में माही गिरी है, उसके बगल में गड्ढा खोदकर उस तक पहुंचने की कोशिश की जा रही है। एक नहीं बल्कि 2-2 गड्ढे खोदे जा रहे हैं पैरेलल इस गड्ढे के। ये मेरी बेटी, इससे मैं लगातार बात करता रहा। रात 12:30 बजे तक मेरी बात होती रही। बच्ची के रोने की आवाजें आती रही, लेकिन रात भर इस बच्ची की आवाज नहीं आ रही थी, जिससे बहुत से सवाल मन में उठ रहे थे, लेकिन सकारात्मक संकेत अब से कुछ देर पहले ये मिला है कि बच्ची सुरक्षित है, उसकी हल्की सी आवाज आई है। कोशिशें हो रही हैं उस तक लगातार ऑक्सीजन की सप्लाई करने की। ऑक्सीजन का जो सिलेंडर है वो लगाया गया है, वहां पर ऑक्सीजन भेजी जा रही है बच्ची तक ताकि उसे सांस आता रहे।
Mit ganzer Kraft versucht der kleine Champier, den tosenden Wassermassen standzuhalten. Es fehlt nicht viel und der Strom eines Abwasserkanals würde ihn mit sich reißen. Gerade noch rechtzeitig haben die Retter den Dreijährigen in dem Kanalschacht entdeckt. Einen ganzen Tag lang war nach dem Jungen gesucht worden, nachdem er beim Spielen mit seinen 2 Brüdern verschwunden war. Endlich gelingt es den Helfern, den Kleinen aus dem Kanal zu befreien. Wir haben sehr intensiv gesucht. Gott sei Dank haben wir den Jungen gefunden. Wir hatten die Kanäle bereits einmal durchsucht, ohne ihn zu finden. Beim zweiten Mal war er da. Fast wäre er jedoch in ein Loch des Kanals gespült worden. Mit dem Rettungswagen wird er in ein Krankenhaus nahe seiner kolumbianischen Heimatstadt Barranquilla gebracht und dort medizinisch versorgt. Der Unfall beim Spielen ist noch einmal gut ausgegangen, wenn auch nur ganz knapp. Aus einer ähnlich hilflosen Lage war vor kurzem dieser kleine Junge in einem chinesischen Dorf befreit worden. Wegen Sauerstoffmangels droht er in einem 12 Meter tiefen und nur 30 Zentimeter breiten Brunnenschacht zu ersticken. Er sitzt fest. Das Problem, kein Helfer ist schlank genug, um sich zu dem 2-Jährigen abzuseilen. Nach mehreren Stunden gelingt es den Helfern endlich, das Kind aus seinem Gefängnis zu befreien. Zum Glück war der Brunnen bereits stillgelegt.
Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride joins us live from the Antelope Valley Medical Center in Lancaster, where that man is recovering after this terrifying ordeal. Melissa?
And John, we're told that this man has only minor injuries and that he's going to be okay. The LA County Fire Department says that he's extremely lucky that a group of horseback riders heard his cries for help earlier today, and they were able to call 911. Now, the rescue is taking place earlier this evening out in Little Rock. Now, the man appeared to be exhausted after being stuck for more than 24 hours. He was down in what appears to be some sort of irrigation piping, part of an irrigation system out in a field along 90th Street East. Now, the temperature out in the high desert was 100 degrees today, and we're told that this hole was 6 to 8 feet deep and about 14 inches wide.
He's in a seated position. It's somewhat of a confined area for him, but as we go to approach the rescue, he is in an upright position, and we will attempt to, with his cooperation and assistance, we'll try to get him out into a standing position and raise him from the hole.
An LA County Urban Search and Rescue team used a jackhammer to make the hole larger in order to extricate the man. He told firefighters that he was walking home from a friend's house last night and cut through the field in order to get back to his house. And that's when he says his shoe fell down in the hole. And when he tried to go get it, that's when he got stuck. Thankfully, he did not spend a second night down in that hole because the people who were out on that trail ride heard him screaming. And once they realized that they had heard a man's voice, they located him and they were able to make sure that he was rescued safely. Reporting live in Lancaster, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Let's open up this pit!
A mysterious black hole that appeared in Newburn in the space of an afternoon. The 10-foot hole took with it part of an 8-foot wall, just yards from people's homes.
Felt the whole road cave in. It just, like, you heard the crash of the thud, and all the blokes outside jumped back, and obviously we ran straight to the window to see what was happening. We knew it probably would go at some point because you could see it was like sagging like further and further by the minute. But yeah, more concern was like, did we have to get the kids out of bed to like evacuate and stuff like that? Because we had been told initially that may happen.
Engineers cordoned off the road and helped to secure the area through which Newburn Dean and a water culvert run.
Just beyond this flats here, it actually runs underneath that block of flats. I think it bypasses me slightly, but it must sort of come round the corner there. I'm just hoping it doesn't get any worse than what it is, really. But there's nothing I can do until I find out for sure what's going to happen, really.
How would you like to walk outside and find a hole in your yard that's 8 feet wide and so deep you don't even know how far down it goes? It's happened to a family in Magdalena, and it has everyone in the small town talking.
3 generations of the Pino family has lived on Las Tuzas in Magdalena. Juan Pino has been living there since he was a baby. He's the one who found the hole a couple weeks ago.
Woke up one morning and came out the door and just looked something odd over here. Then I came walking over here to see what it was, and I found a big hole.
Not really sure what to do about the giant hole, which appears to be at least 60 feet deep. They first called the sheriff. They've even had people from New Mexico Tech come and take samples from the giant hole. It's turned into a local tourist attraction.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of people that came by and checked out the hole.
For now, the Pino family has the hole roped off and covered up. It's in an area the family has used as their playground for a long time for volleyball, horseshoes, and family get-togethers.
Hole that we found here, I hope there won't be another one, and I'm afraid the kids.
There are all kinds of theories about why the Earth opened up there. We do know there was a big rain right before the hole developed. The Pino family is hoping New Mexico Tech comes up with some kind of answer for them. In the meantime, they're concerned about how to fill that hole and how much that's going to cost.
Let's open up this pit!
Red Sea is famous for its healing remedies and unique minerals. But in recent years, a new phenomena has appeared. Gigantic sinkholes are appearing along the sea's west coast. Our Israeli team spoke with a researcher who fell into one of those holes.
The Dead Sea is the lowest place on Earth. It attracts tourists from all over the world who enjoy its healing waters. Industries also utilize its minerals, but in recent years, deep holes began forming along its west coast. In Israeli terminology, they are called sinkholes, and they can swallow up roads, vehicles, and even humans. We went out to examine this phenomenon and met a geologist who fell into a sinkhole while he was examining it.
I was informed that the new sinkholes were spotted somewhere. I went to document it and discovered a small sinkhole. While documenting it, it grew larger and drew me in.
So what does it take to be swallowed by the Earth?
I fell into a massive landslide which kept me on one side, but the other side was burying me. The first thing I recall was striving to get out. It was pitch dark and I couldn't see anything. I felt as though there was a heavy rock on my head. It was a struggle which lasted for hours, trying to dig my way out. And at one point I managed to climb out of the fall. And from that moment onwards, the anxiety began.
Raz sat in the depth of the hole for 14 long hours. He was unable to move and unable to climb upwards.
The biggest problem was that I was afraid to move much because everything was so fragile, and each movement could have aroused a new landslide.
Then Raz found a solution for his anxieties. He began writing.
Since occasionally there were more landslides, I felt anxious. I found a postcard in my bag, and I also had all my equipment along with me in my backpack, including a pen, so I decided I was going to write a farewell letter.
Writing on the postcard helped him to relax. In his bag there was also a roll of toilet paper, and he kept writing on it during all these long hours in the pit.
Since writing felt good, I decided to keep writing. I found a roll of toilet paper in my backpack, so I took it out and it lasted until the evening.
In addition to writing, Raz made a conscious decision to keep thinking positively all along. and that soothed his anxieties.
Because otherwise I would be mentally lost, and the first moments were extremely difficult, moments of a very deep existential anxiety.